We'll do it. Hey, everybody. Round 2 of the NBA playoff predictions. Let's get into it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he still got off easy for absolutely plunking me with that fastball. Just saying. Just saying.
Hey, that was awesome. That was an awesome day.
Yes, it was.
A.J. Herschel, the kid.
Yes, we are. I'm A.J. Herschel, as Caedmon just said. That's Caedmon Bauer. That's Caedmon Bauer, as I just said. I'm getting the direction wrong. We got a lot of people in the chat today. Joshi B. Potashi. I don't even know if I'm pronouncing that right.
What's up, Josh?
Oh, yeah.
Yes, you are.
An hour ago he was here. Porter Drinks, our man, checking in at 6, saying nice. I see the little update with the logo. He actually has the word Porter Drinks in there now. Very nice. And Peter Handy, let's go. Giving us a big hype up, starting off our episode today. How are you doing, man? Good to hear from you. It's been a hot minute. Caedmon, how are you doing? I bet you're feeling relieved today, man.
Yeah. If you didn't know, I'm done with school. I just finished today. So, that is nice. I'm excited about that.
Very nice, dude. Congratulations. How are you feeling? All your tests went and everything?
I think most of them went really well.
Nice.
I got most of them back. There's a couple longer ones that are still being graded, but
cool.
I think overall really well.
Well done, sir. Congratulations.
You, sir.
Well, you ready to get into our episode today?
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Before we even do, after our episode, be sure to check out our Allied Rivals Shorts playlist that we have. Are just short 5-minute opinionated questions. They're really fun. Grab them, watch them while you're getting your morning coffee or whatever else you want to do. Watch them whenever. They're always available, but it's nice with your morning coffee. You know, you wake up with us and the Allied Rivals, stuff like that. And Caedmon has completely just disappeared, but he'll be back in a second. And we're talking about the second round of the NBA playoffs. And it was a crazy, crazy round 1. And Caedmon has completely just disappeared, but he'll be back in a second. And we're talking. I could hear myself right there. I think it sounds all right.
Sorry, where were we at?
I was just hitting us with the intro, and I can go ahead and pull up the playoff bracket again for us, Cade. Caedmon, what were your initial reactions to round 1? Let's go ahead and start with your guys, the Milwaukee Bucks, just absolutely dominating over the Miami Heat. I mean, first of all, Butler actually played. How on earth, man?
So surprised that he played.
I know. It's crazy.
Yeah. I didn't get it personally, but I mean, I guess they felt like if they didn't have him, there was no point in even being in the playoffs. So even though you're injured, not even feeling good, especially in games 3 and 4, they kind of knew they had to play him even if they wanted a chance, which they didn't, even with him there. So Go Bucks, we swept, the only team in the first round to do that. So that was pretty nice. Just to know we're still good and that we got revenge.
I'm sure that feels real sweet. That first game kind of scared me for a second.
That was a little scary.
Overtime?
Thank you, Chris Middleton.
Oh my goodness, that was crazy. Dude, that man's a legend for you guys right now. He is absolutely balling out. Next up, the 76ers handled the Wizards in about what we'd expect, right? 4-1, not very close. Saw it coming. But the 76ers are in a little trouble with Joel Embiid banged up. He's injured, meniscus tear, may not be back for game 1 against the Atlanta Hawks. Caedmon, how do you think this affects Philly?
Yeah, I mean, I think he's doubtful for game 1. I think that's what his status was, and questionable for game 2. I don't know if it's just been a weird season because we've had games every other day, and players haven't been able to get as much rest as usual. Like Joel Embiid, and he's just got to keep going. I think he will miss game 1, and I think the Sixers can still win without him. I don't know if he's gone 3 or more games though. That's a big problem, you know.
Yeah, I think if he's gone for the first 2, I think the Sixers can still right the ship. But I mean, yeah, they beat the Wizards with their small ball lineup, but they were basically playing Ben Simmons at like power forward, and Tobias Harris was essentially their center. They didn't have any height, and that's going to be a mess against the Hawks and Clint Capella. They will not be able to get any boards for as long as he's gone. Oh my goodness, dude. But I feel like the Sixers are going to be deep enough to at least hang on for a while. They've got a good depth on their roster.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, well, we got some comments.
Yes, we do.
We got, AJ, did you see this one? Because I was gone.
Yes, it came up while you were here, so you're good.
Okay. So Peter Handy, love this guy. I also recommend you all check out Allied Rivals Not As Shorts, which Caedmon is unfortunately not part of. Yeah. All right, next one.
Really hard to find those on the internet nowadays.
Jaden Kingsley,
yes.
Booker. I was playing some basketball with Jaden today.
Nice.
And I said, you know what? I'm gonna book it with Devin Booker. So I was Devin Booker the whole time.
Nice.
And,
yeah. Speaking of Devin Booker, Suns close out their series 115-85 in Game 5. What on earth, dude? The Lakers just completely bombed.
AD was out. That's a big part of it.
But still, like, he is one of those guys where it's a game changer where he's gone, you lose 20 points essentially. But still, this is why they got Andre Drummond. You thought Markieff Morris would put up more than 4 points last game. The Lakers are supposed to be a deep team with LeBron, Schroeder, Kyle Kuzma, Alex Caruso. This is supposed to be a team that can shoot. And if you looked at them from their past few games, their shooting was atrocious. 34% in back-to-back games for the first half against the Suns. That is how you lose basketball games. They were getting obliterated because they couldn't hit a shot to save their lives.
Yeah, I mean, when AD's gone, you lose so much of that, both like chemistry with LeBron. I mean, you lose points, you lose assists, you lose big boards, blocks. I mean, he's awesome on defense because he was almost Defensive Player of the Year. We know how good AD is. And, I mean, when LeBron James was out earlier in the year, the Lakers didn't win. When AD was out, it was hard to win. And I think when they're missing one of those two guys, they're just nowhere near as good as – I don't know, man.
Yeah, just not as good. And Jaden Kingsley's calling it right now. Suns going all the way. Well, we'll see about that. They definitely are looking good so far, especially Booker. Especially Booker. And the team's a lot deeper than you'd expect it to be. Oh, my goodness, dude. A couple of other of the series that we predicted pretty on point. Jazz 4-1 over the Grizzlies. What else was there? Nuggets 4-2 over the Trailblazers, even though Dame Time put on a show. Back-to-back buzzer beaters in Game 5.
12 3-pointers.
Oh, man. It's heartbreaking that they can't make it past the first round, dude.
He was so sad. He was so sad in his interviews.
Tough series. Oh, my goodness. And then, of course, Nets rolled over the Celtics 4-1. So a couple of ones that we had predicted pretty handily, but one of the ones we didn't see coming, we had both said that the Nets Hawks is going to 5 games. They wrapped it up in 5. Series was 1-1, and then the Hawks won 3 straight. Caedmon, good call with Atlanta. What on earth, man?
Yeah, Trae Young was looking pretty good. Was this his first playoff appearance?
It was as far as I remember. Yeah,
and he did really well. They were doing great on the boards, obviously, with Clint Capella, and their offense, I think we both know, is a lot better than the Knicks. I thought the Knicks defense was going to do better.
Same, dude.
It just wasn't working.
And they just couldn't score at all. They had a hard time getting buckets on the Hawks, which I was very shocked about too.
Yep.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, that is our recap of the first round, except the first round isn't even quite over. Mavericks Clippers is tonight.
They just can't decide who wants to win.
Caedmon, what's your prediction? Game 6 in Dallas. Dallas has took the last one 105-100. What do you think is going to happen here? The Clippers did tie it up the game before that and just rolled. Mm-hmm. What do you think's happening tonight? Will the Clippers be able to shut down Luka, or will the Mavs move on to the next round?
So the Clippers are going to win tonight because every away team has won so far in this series. And then the Mavericks are going to win Game 7 because they'll be the away team.
That is true.
That's how it's going to work. Mavs are going to go to the second round. And I don't know if I predicted that, but it's going to take them another game.
Yeah. It's definitely going to be very interesting because the Clippers, you think, are a team that can score, but neither of these teams are very deep. I mean, it's literally like Luka carries them with Tim Hardaway Jr. and Kristaps Porzingis, and then the Clippers have a great starting five, and then after that, their bench is just really small. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. So Caedmon, you heard it here first, ladies and gentlemen, goes to 7. Jaden Kingsley thinks the Mavs are going to take it home tonight. They definitely can. Will they be the first home team to win a game? Oh my goodness.
That's okay.
Lightning Bauer, man, in the chat. Good to see him asking, is Dan Mangiero, I think that's how technically you pronounce it, Margil,
I don't know,
playing this year?
He is
Phoenix
not
Suns
playing this year.
No, he is not. That is a while back. He's also asking, what's my shirt? I have the Brazil national team shirt on.
Nice.
One of my favorite soccer teams, one of my favorite soccer clubs, favorite national club, probably outside of America, but we don't make the World Cup anymore, apparently. So yeah, Brazil all the way. Jaden Kingsley says Luka's going to carry the Mavs for a win tonight. Well, let's see what happens. But for now, we're going to give our second round prediction, starting with the Philadelphia 76ers versus the Atlanta Hawks. Joel Embiid not going to be starting. Cade, probably. It's doubtful, but he could be back.
Probably not.
Caedmon, What are you thinking? Can the Hawks survive against a team that absolutely rolled in the regular season?
I don't think so. I think the Hawks had a nice series with the Knicks, and I predicted that. But I think that the 76ers defense is better than the Knicks, and a lot of that is Joel Embiid. So when he's out, they're going to take advantage of that. But I think their offense is definitely better than the Knicks. Joel Embiid, you don't usually get MVP if you're bad at offense, if you're not great at offense. Joel is really good at offense, points, boards, assists as well. And then Ben Simmons, we all know how dominant he is, even if Joel is gone.
He was the Defensive Player of the Year candidate.
Yeah, yep. And Joel has been gone before, and Ben Simmons does what he does.
Yep.
He just kind of takes control. So I think the Sixers take it, and I think they take it in 6.
Interesting. 6 games. I think it depends on when Joel gets back for me. I think the Sixers are going to take it. I think the Hawks come out and stun the Sixers in game 1. I think Trae Young goes off game 1. I think they're going to have a hard time getting rebounds against Clint Capella. I think Bogdanovich is going to be clicking. I think they'll take the first game. After that, I think the Sixers bounce back. I think Joel comes back. They get another one. I think they go up 3-1 before the Hawks either barely steal a game or the Sixers close it out. Lightning Bauer is in agreement with this one on for us that the Sixers take this one over the Atlanta Hawks. It's going to be a fun series for sure, and Joel's injury is definitely going to determine how long this series is going to go, but I'm with both of you guys. I say Sixers take it in 5.
Okay. All right.
Moving on to the next one. Caedmon, you've been dreading it, but you've been dreading this one. Yeah. The Milwaukee Bucks versus the Brooklyn Nets.
That's going to be fun.
It's going to be fun. The after a little scare in game 1, like we said, Bucks swept, and the Nets, after another, once again, little scare, dropping the game, totally dominated the rest of the series.
Yep.
Caedmon, I'm giving you a solo screen for this one, man. This is your team. What are you thinking?
All right. So for game 1, I think Bryn Forbes is supposed to be our number 5 guy since DiVincenzo's out for the rest of the season.
Yeah. How do you think that's going to affect them long term?
Honestly, that does affect them just because it's one more guy that can play, and just I don't know. He's pretty good on defense. He's not necessarily the biggest scorer, but he gets the ball around and he knows how to move. And I think that's one of his bigger things. And he's a really good hustler. So he just moves wherever the ball is. He's really fast. So that's going to be a bummer. But Bryn Forbes is definitely a better shooter. He is a phenomenal 3-point shooter, and he is so fun to watch. So I think if Bryn Forbes comes out really hot, and we can start chipping away at the Nets defense, then we take game 1. But if we just can't make shots, because this is what happened in game 1 with the Heat, we weren't making shots, including Bryn Forbes, especially in the beginning, and that's what really hurt us, and that's why it was such a close game. We saw in game 2 and 3 with the Heat, we smoked them because we were making our shots, and even in game 4, it wasn't super close, but it wasn't as big a blowout as the other ones because we just didn't make as many shots. So I think if we're making our threes, especially Bryn, then I think we win game 1, and I personally think we take this one in 6.
6. Interesting.
Yeah.
Very interesting. So. This is Lightning Bauer's in agreement with you. He says Bucks as well. It's gonna be tough because the Nets, let's be honest, have a 6-man roster. Let's be honest here. It is Durant, Harris, Harden, Irving, Griffin, and then somebody steps up big typically on the bench. Whether it's Brown, whether it's Claxton, somebody comes up and gets themselves 10 points. I think it's definitely going to come down to which defense is going to be able to step up first, because Griffin is hard to get past in the paint, but Giannis is even harder to get through. But Durant is also really great at fadeaways and driving to the basket, and Harden is, in my opinion, the best passer in the league right now. I know he finished 2nd in the league in assists, but come on, he was out for like a third of the year, and this is the Nets team that is finally getting together. And they're playing well. And we look at the Bucks. I'm sorry. The Heat offense is just nowhere near as good as the Nets offense is.
Oh, no, it's not.
This is a team that put up basically 120 plus in every game except their first game back together. I think this goes out in 7. Lightning Bauer says Holiday takes out Harden. Look, Holiday is great on defense.
Holiday is like the best defensive guard.
Do not get me wrong about that. He is great. But how many times have we said somebody's going to stop James Harden before he drops 50? How many times have we said that? Giannis is going to get Harden. Giannis is going to get Harden.
No.
Sorry, not Harden. Giannis is going to get Durant. Giannis is going to get Durant. Holiday is going to get Harden. And Middleton is going to get Irving.
Kyrie Irving. Yeah.
That is going to be a big 3 matchup that's going to be crazy. I think the Bucks have a better 4 and 5 potentially with Lopez and whoever's rotating in. I think PJ Tucker needs to have a good game as well for sure. And then for the Nets, you have got to have Tobias Harris step up. I think he's going to be a big X factor for them, depending on how many points he scores. I think it goes to 7. I think the Nets take it because I think they're going to roll up too many points. But it's going to be it's going to be so close. This is going to be the most fun series out of all of them, and it's going to be a shootout, in my opinion. I know that was a long rant there, but it's going to be close.
Yeah. What about the Bucks' amazing defense? Like when you look at the Nets defense, it's ranked always like 25th, 28th. And then the Bucks is like 5, 6, 4.
Yeah.
So how do you think that's going to affect it?
Oh, yeah, I completely agree with that. But let's also remember that the Nets haven't had their big 3. They had their big 3 together for 10 games during the regular season. Most of the time, it'd just be 1 or 2 of them. So it's hard. And then they also had LaMarcus Aldridge. Let's keep that in mind, but he's out of the league now due to his heart condition. Very sorry for him. Great guy, great player. Sorry to see him go. Blake Griffin is only there for half the year. So for me, their season stats are really hard to judge because their full team wasn't even healthy and playing together. And I don't think their team played exceptionally great against the Celtics on defense. I think it was good, not great. But the Nets offense is the best in basketball right now in terms of point scoring, in my opinion. So you've got one of the best defenses against the best offense. I just think that the big 3 of the Nets, especially with Irving wanting another championship, Durant definitely wanting one, and Harden looking for his first, that's a trio that I don't want to fight against. It's good. I know, right? It's so weird. He hasn't been to one since the Thunder. It's ridiculous. Peter Handy comes out, says Bucks can't stop all the weapons. Each game, someone's going to slip through the cracks. This is where I think Tobias Harris comes in. That's where I think he comes in and he's going to drop 20 points.
Silly.
It's going to be close, though. It will definitely be close. 2 more series to go, Caedmon.
All right.
First of all, Utah Jazz versus either the Mavs or the Clippers. We're both saying Mavericks here. We're both saying Mavericks here are going to take the series. But what do you think? It's going to be close.
Between the Mavericks and Jazz?
Yes, because we're predicting
Mavs. And Jazz, whichever it is. We're predicting Mavs, whichever it is, though. Jazz take it. I think Jazz take it in 5.
Wow. Not giving Luka a lot of credit there.
Luka's great, and I don't know. Something about the Jazz just tells me that it's not going to be too hard for them. Like, they took out, okay, who's better right now, John Morant or Luka Doncic?
Luka Doncic, easy.
I can never say his last name. You think so, huh?
He's putting up 40 on the Clippers every night. John Morant is great. Don't get me wrong. He's one of the most exciting players to watch. But Luka's kind of carried the Mavs almost all season. No disrespect to Hardaway Jr. and everybody else, but Luka's a star. He's an MVP caliber player.
Yeah. I'm kind of thinking that, John Morant has kind of been also carrying the Grizzlies, and the Mavericks are a better team, I think, not just because of Doncic, but also because they have a better bench. I think that's a big thing. But I think the Jazz are just, I don't know, when I look at their roster, obviously Donovan Mitchell and Rudy Gobert. Rudy Gobert's probably going to be Defensive Player of the Year.
Oh, he
Bogdanovich, who the Bucks really wanted.
Yeah.
And Mike Conley.
I think that was the other one, wasn't it? Wasn't it
was
Bogdan?
It the other one?
I think it was Bogdan, not Bojan.
Oh, it was the other one. It was the other one.
Yeah.
And then Mike Conley.
Yeah.
And
most underrated player in the NBA, by the way, Mike Conley.
He is. And then the 2 sixth men of the year, which you guessed that one right.
Jordan Clarkson, Joe Ingles.
Yes, sir. But when you look at that, that's kind of, it just looks overpowered compared to the Mavericks.
And don't forget Derek Favors, who can turn it on or off at random times.
Yeah. So, AJ, it seems like you have a little more faith in the Mavs. So, what are you seeing from them?
I think the Mavs are going to put up as many points as they can with Luka and Hardaway. I think Porzingis is going to be hard to stop around the boards. But to me, I don't think this team is deep enough to beat the Jazz, in my opinion. Their bench is very slim compared to the Jazz, like you said. I think the Mavs will definitely run up the score, maybe steal 2 games. If their series against the Clippers go to 7, I think it's 4-1 easy. If they finish it out, close out the Clippers tonight, I think it might be 4-2. But I think it'll be a lot close. It'll be a lot closer 4-1, 4-2 than it would be if they have to go 7, because they're going to be exhausted coming in. The Jazz are going to be rested and ready to play. So I think if the Clippers close it out tonight, 4-2. If they don't and it goes to 7, Jazz 4-1, maybe even 4-0. I'm going to be honest. I think they could sweep them, depending on how exhausted the Mavs are by then.
Yeah. So we're in somewhat of agreement.
We're in somewhat of agreement. Yeah.
We both take the Jazz. It doesn't matter how many games.
Exactly.
Jazz.
Yep. There we go.
All right.
Final one, Cade. Phoenix Suns versus the Denver Nuggets. What are you thinking about this one? The Nuggets took down Dame Time in a tough series, and then the Suns ousted the champions. And on top of that, gave LeBron his first ever first-round exit in the history of his career. What do you think, Cade?
See, I think that obviously we talked about LeBron, AD, that whole thing. Suns are good, and I think it's. I'm a little worried about Chris Paul, but he's supposed to be okay with that shoulder and everything. I think he's supposed to be okay. That worries me just a little bit. But either way, Devin Booker's amazing. And, what am I saying? Nikola Jokic is amazing, too.
MVP.
So, and he's probably going to be the MVP. He should be the MVP. If he's not, we're going to talk to the NBA about that one. But, so you've kind of said this all year. Nikola Jokic has, really carried this team, maybe more than any other player in the NBA. player to team. I mean, you look at Michael Porter Jr. and he's fine. He's their number 2 definitely.
Aaron Gordon.
But his Aaron Gordon. Sorry.
Yep.
Aaron Gordon. That just slipped my mind because he wasn't there the whole year.
I know, right?
Yeah, but none of those guys' stats are as impressive as like just putting those. I think you said it so many times that in order to go far or win the finals, you got to have at least 2 studs. And I don't know, AJ. I don't really consider Aaron Gordon a stud at this point, especially how he's. I don't know. It's just being fair. And you look at the Suns, and you obviously see Devin Booker and Chris Paul. Those are easily studs, and it's kind of those 2 guys. Just I don't know. They controlled the games against the Lakers, and I think they could do the same with the Nuggets. It wasn't easy with the Lakers. I'll give you that.
Yeah.
But it wasn't 7 games. It wasn't like all of the games were down to the wire.
Yeah.
I'm going Phoenix on this one.
Yeah, this is a tough one. And this is probably going to hurt any Nuggets fan out there. I think the Nuggets, do need another. I think they could do well if they got one other like great role player. Like I think Jokic is great, obviously. Porter's great. Gordon is a very good scorer. I think Austin Rivers is a fine scorer as well. And then after that, Millsap is good off the bench. Campazzo he's good. I think he's good, but I just don't know if it's enough to carry him past Phoenix. Jay Crowder, in my opinion, one of the most underrated starters in the NBA. I think he can score way more than anybody else gives him credit for. It's going to be tough. I think this goes to 6. I think the Nuggets take at least 2, but I don't know if the Nuggets are built for a deep playoff run. We saw the Suns, even in the games when AD was playing with the Lakers. It was definitely closer. They definitely didn't score as many points for sure because they had a hard time getting in the basket, and they went down 2-1. But once I feel like I'm convincing myself out of this. I think the Nuggets are going to actually take it. The more I think about it, I think the Nuggets have the defense to get it done. Like the more I thought about it, and then I remembered they went down 2-1. And the Nuggets, you could say, oh my goodness, they went to double overtime with the Trailblazers. Come on, guys. The Trailblazers' offense is ridiculous. Their defense needs a lot of help. But Damian Lillard, CJ McCollum, and Norman Powell can shoot the lights out. They're playing one of the most offensively powered teams in basketball. I think the Nuggets take it in 7. The more I think about it, I think the Nuggets take it in 7. I switched on this because I said Suns before this started.
You did switch on this.
It's tough, dude.
I'm not gonna agree with that. I'm sticking with the Suns, and I think it's just because the 2 studs versus the 1 big boy.
Yeah.
And the 2 studs be good. 2 studs win.
Good English. Very good English.
Thank you.
So Caedmon's prediction there is the Phoenix Suns. Mine in 6. Mine is the Nuggets in 7. Definitely going to be a fun series. So just to recap for y'all, Caedmon says Suns.
Okay, so we got AJ Herschel the Kid coming right back, and we got AJ finishing off with Caedmon says the Suns.
Yes, there we go. Thank you. Also, Lightning Bauer in the chat clarifying it's Dan Marley is how you pronounce his last name. We got a correct spelling here, and that's how the Suns are advancing. Don't know what decade you're living in for this one, but hey, maybe you just popped out of a time machine for all I know. Could be right about that. So Caedmon says Suns in 6. I'm saying Nuggets in 7. We're both saying Jazz in 5. He's going Bucks in 6 games, was it?
Yeah, I'm saying Bucks in 6.
Bucks in 6. I'm saying Nets in 7. And then finally we're going Sixers over the Hawks in 5 or 6.
Yeah.
Depending on Embiid's health, depending on what happens there.
Yep.
But ladies and gentlemen, that is our NBA conference semifinal predictions. Let us know what you guys' predictions are in the chat below. We had a great chat today. Porter drinks, Peter Handy, Jaden Kingsley, Lightning Bauer. Thank you guys so much for coming out. And I love this little back and forth, Caedmon, between Peter and Lightning Bauer. Peter, Bucks can't stop all the weapons. Each game, someone's going to slip through the cracks. Bauer, Nets can't stop all the weapons. Each game, someone's going to slip through the cracks. We'll see. We'll see what happens in the most exciting series that we could get.
We will see.
But ladies and gentlemen, those are our predictions. We will see you guys next time on the one and only Allied Rivals podcast. Hopefully, we might be able to get another one in sometime. Yeah. The MLB is in full swing, so we need to do an update video on that, recap some of our predictions we gave at the beginning of the season with KDT Wiffle Ball. So we'll definitely be here about that. Comment below. What do you guys want us to talk about? What leagues? I'm happy to do indoor football leagues. I'm really disappointed that the Arizona Rattlers lost our first game against the Sioux Falls Storm, but whatever. Let us know what shorts ideas you have for us. What other stuff would you want us to talk about? And we will see you guys next time on the one and only Odd Rivals podcast. But before we go, Caedmon's got something for us we haven't had in a hot minute.
It's true. Well, if you have been listening, if you've been tuning in with us for a long time, maybe like 6 months ago or whatever, we pretty consistently been doing like a verse of the week type thing. And to be honest, me and AJ just kind of forgot about that. Yeah. It's just slowly ran past us. I think especially when we had like a month break from Allied Rivals when we were just super busy. But thought we'd bring that back again. And we're not gonna do a verse this time. I'm gonna read something from, since it's June 4th, we're going to read something from Proverbs 4, or not from Proverbs 4, but there's a book called Wonderful, and it just talks a little bit about it. So, I'll just read a little bit from it. We also learned that David depends on God to fall asleep. He says, "In peace I will both lie down and sleep. For you alone, O Lord, make me dwell in safety." He trusts God's promises to be true, even in the dark. So we learn that God is near and trustworthy. Do you believe this? Can you remember a time when you knew God was close? And that's it.
Very nice.
Very
good.
Sir.
Hadn't had one of those in a while. Good to hear that again. Yeah. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we'll see you guys next time on the one and only Odd Rivals podcast. And Caedmon, it is getting near to a year that we've been doing this.
I know.
We are almost at
exciting.
Our 1 year anniversary. So we got to do something big for July 20th or something.
I think so.
We got to do something. So you guys will definitely want to be checking out our podcast. We'll think of something fun. But ladies and gentlemen, thank you guys so much for tuning into the Odd Rivals podcast. We'll see you guys next time. Have a good one, everybody.
See ya.
Bum, 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 bum.
Oh, yeah.
Bum, ba-da. Da, 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 da,
that was beautiful.